Okay, Tony, we're good whenever you are.
Okay, so we're delayed for a few minutes. Okay, all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I make a motion to come out of the executive session. No action was taken.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next item on this evening will be the work session discussion with the CAC. Okay, Judy, there was a nice presentation made by your group last month. You had a couple of questions you asked of the town. We'll try to answer them and continue the dialogue. I guess the first thing was you wanted to appoint a liaison. I don't see, where's Elena? She's not on tonight? Okay. Before COVID hit, which was a year ago, I think Elena was in contact with me like every other minute, maybe. Oh, there's Elena. We were the best of buddies. But in the past year, of course, nothing much has been happening. But both Eric Larka and John Lord has volunteered to work with you. We don't really appoint liaisons, but they'll work with you. I'll work with you. The only thing is we can't be on the same page on the same time and the same day, but we're willing to work with you. I think we have worked with you the best we can. So that is not a problem. So you can call myself, John, or Eric when you have an issue accordingly. Okay. Now, you asked about the rent or the electric bill. We all got tough times, you, us, everybody, and we all have bills to pay. What I'd be willing to do, again, the town has, as you know, an area down there where we have records stored. We like never go in there. We don't use electricity. So the best I would consider doing on the electric end of it, I think right now you're paying 2/3. We would reduce it to half. The town will pick up a quarter, which is more than we should, but, and the, unfortunately, we pick up the museum portion as well, so we'll be paying half. Elena, get your hand up. Can you unmute her?
Yeah, hold on. Sorry. And Judy, I'll unmute you.
Did you say that you are not using any electricity in there?
What are we using electricity for?
The dehumidifier in the back, which is running 24/7.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know they had one there. Okay, so we'll pick up 25. We pick up the 25% for the museum and you'll be reduced to half. Is that fair?
That is, Tony. We just, what we're gonna need from you, if it's okay, being as we haven't been able to run any programming, we're gonna need a little extension on paying that bill. We'd be happy to pay it once we run a few programs and make a little money, but right now there's no money in the coffers for me to pay you. So we are definitely good for it. I just can't do it right now.
Okay, not a problem. We've never had a problem with that. We'll keep a little tab on the side.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
I'm thinking by the midsummer, we should be able to pay it, no problem.
Yeah, things are starting to open up a little bit more now, more and more every day. So things are getting better. We will work with you without a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. What else did you have on that list, by the way, Judy? Was there something else? Was there a third item? Oh, okay, go ahead. Yes. Was there a third item?
Elena, was there a third item?
Yeah. I know there's a 2 points you asked.
I think they want help with the grant writing.
Oh, right.
No, if you find a grant writer, tell us, because we've done absolutely horrible with grants. I mean, we've tried numerous people, numerous times, and we're very unsuccessful with grants. We're trying another one recently. We tried one for Cobb Road for a project, got denied. We're going to try again, going a different approach to try to get it. We had a grant writer. He did not do a good job. Actually, he got something about 6 months after his contract expired and didn't do well. You remember, I think, Elena, you worked with him, that gentleman. We won't mention his name.
Victor, several years ago.
Don't mention his name. Anyway, he did not do well for the town, and grant writing, it's something I think that I wish the county would help us with, because they get grants like all over the place, and if they could share some of that money, we'd be doing really, really well. But grant writing, right
Do
now,
we have a grant writer we can reach out to? Do you know if the county has somebody?
I would check with them again. I mean, I've asked on occasion, but nothing, but I will find out again and let you know.
Thank you.
What, are we doing anything as far as the easement goes?
Well, here's what's happening right now, and I think most of the world does know. The village is now going through an extensive process to, they're not, they're going to condemnation for certain properties and things of that nature. The
Called
gentleman,
urban renewal.
okay. The gentleman that owned that building next door, Bob Marini, as we know, died. I was working with his attorney. And now that this urban renewal project and the new owner of that project is trying to work with the village. So kind of in limbo, because if that project moves forward, they have every intention of working with the town and yourselves. So that right now is in limbo, but I think no matter what, something will happen on it, but it's just not happening at this point in time.
Now, you said that you all would be my liaison. I have 2 technical reports that I'd like somebody at the town to review. Should I just send them?
What are the reports? What are the reports for?
One is on the building envelope from Lacey Thaler, Riley Wilson. And
what do you want them to, who do you want to review it? The building department?
I don't know. It's up to you. But I feel like somebody at the town level should really digest it.
Well, forward whatever you have to me tomorrow. Let me review it and see who we should ask to help review it. If it's the
Okay,
building
and then
department.
I also have this OLA deliverable, which was on the MEP design.
Okay, can you tell us what those mean? OLA and MPE?
OLA is the name of the company, and it's the electrical, plumbing, and HVAC system design.
It sounds like the building department, but go ahead. And what both of them for them?
So when you say building department, Michael Levine only wants to work with me once I have permits ready to go, and that gets to him.
Well, provide it to me. Let me ask him if he can take a review of it, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
Tony, it may very well be something that is in the purview of the town engineering consultant to look at.
Yeah.
It might be beyond what Michael is prepared to do.
Yeah. Forward it to me and let me see what it is, and I'll just see if we can send it out to find out who can help us.
Okay.
Not knowing what it is, until I see it, I don't know what you're speaking of.
Okay.
Now, Judy, I know you sent a letter to Michael about an event with 49, I mean, you said 99, he said 49.
Well, I
Have you-
figured I'd try for $4.99. I knew he was going to put me down, but I figured I'd give it a try.
Okay, are you working with him on that at this
I
point in time?
responded back to him. I redrafted it with 49 people, and I just pinged him the other day to say, is that a go? So I haven't gotten a yes or no from him yet. I'm
I
still.
didn't see that correspondence. Did you CC me on that when you
I
did?
did.
it?
I
Yeah,
did.
I don't remember that one. Okay, I'll
I
go
can go
looking
into
for
my
it.
files and look for it too, and I can send it to you if you didn't get it.
Okay, I don't recall getting it. Because I know I know you sent it to him, he responded to you with the but I didn't see anything after that. I didn't see your response back to him.
Okay, I'll send you a copy of it.
Thank you.
So I'm still waiting for him to tell me what's okay and what's not okay.
Right. And of course, it's all depending on what the governor does with, they're opening things up now. I actually in Connecticut in certain places, the restaurants are 100% and things of that nature. So it is starting to pick up. Some are 35%. So we're being kept abreast of it and we'll move forward accordingly. But things are getting better.
We're going to try to run some programming at Wells Park, and Bob is talking about maybe doing it at the gazebo in the spring. While it's still closed down, we'll do some outdoor activities, and then hopefully by the fall, we'll be able to do some indoor stuff.
Right. And you're working with the village on Wells Park, right?
I am.
And then you're working with the recreation department on Lectures Home Field.
Bob?
There's
Yeah.
Bob. Yes,
Yes.
you can unmute, Bob. You can talk. Okay,
Anyone
anything else?
I should unmute, Judy? I unmuted you and Elena and Bob.
There you go.
Yes, I haven't reached out to them yet, but I sure will.
Okay. Okay, anything?
Once we
okay.
start making money, we'll be able to kind of get back on track again.
Well, tell me how you make some money. I think we might have to do the same.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey, Tony,
yes,
just wonder if we could, keep thinking about the utility payment, reducing them to just half the cost. I don't think that's really fair. They occupy less than a third of the building.
no, John, they have this, they have the second floor as well when they work up there. So they actually have 2/3.
How, where are they, what are they occupying? I see that they have studio around the corner is in the basement.
Right?
The theater section, they're occupying in a function of trying to renovate it so that it can be used for the betterment of the town and for their programming. But they're not really occupying it. And
Hmm.
I think that they're bearing a large expense. Utilities, water and sewer, we be paying minimums no matter what, even if they weren't there.
Well, John, maybe you were unaware, about a year ago, there was a water bill that we got down there for $2,500. We're not down there and someone left the water on. So I think it's fair. But if the town board wants to change it, tell me what you want to do.
We should think about it. I think we should, I don't see that they should be responsible for paying utilities for 2/3 of the building when
Well, but now it's 50%, John.
50%. But I don't think that that's fair, but I'd like to keep this discussion going at some point.
Okay. So we'll have to back bill them for that water bill because we don't use water.
Thank you.
Okay.
I also wonder if we should, we give the museum a significant amount of money every year. And I wonder if they should be paying the utilities out of that as well. I guess not.
I agree.
Well, no matter what, the town will end up paying no matter what happens. So that's just the way the game's played here. Okay, anything on the CSE? Would you care to speak to anything else?
The other thing that we had asked was that possibly if we could send an update once a month, so you would be in the loop of what we were doing. Is that something that would be helpful to the board? If they got a written update before your meetings so that you could kind of just stay in the loop of what's happening?
Well, if you're providing us with a document that you want us to read and understand, yes, but if you want to have an actual presentation, I would say quarterly would probably be
No, I'm
sufficient.
saying a piece of paper that's giving you an update of what's
yeah.
happening.
You could do that anytime. Paper we can read pretty easily.
Okay.
We can do that. Yes.
Good. I think those were all our concerns.
Okay. Anything else? Board members?
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the second item, discussion on the social media policy. Okay. Now, wait, something's not right. Hold on. Social media. Oh, you know what? You know what? I think there's an error here. The social media policy is, you know what? This discussion on, so we've already discussed the social media policy. And if you look down to, I just forgot to erase it. It's on the actual agenda for, okay. Let's see, motion number 2 under the regular meeting. So we'll wait till that portion to discuss that. Actually, there's no really discussion at this point in time. We're just going to read what that social media policy is. We've been working on it for probably about a month, right, John?
Correct.
Okay. So that's basically the end of the work session on that portion of it. Okay, I make a motion now to go into the regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, first item on the agenda is a motion to approve and revise fee schedule. As you know, the town park at Pump House Road is going to be a very, very active spot, probably by the middle of summer. There's big plans up there. There's a new playground equipment going in there. Harold Lepler, through his Bear Hill recreation fees, is doing about $145,000 in new equipment there. We're going to be getting, I understand, around $23,000 a gift from Ace Endico, which I was unaware of, but someone made me aware that they volunteered to make a contribution there. Most of the work is going to be done by the highway department. The installation of the equipment will be done by the company itself. We're going to fix the tennis court. We want to enlarge it. I think it's off by about 3 to 6 feet. So we're going to enlarge that so it become more of a regulation tennis court. There's a plan to put a basketball court in there. As you know, the beach is a very busy area during the summertime. We're gonna have a walking trail with the new playground. There's a trail that goes in maybe as much as a mile. We're gonna put markers. I attended a town, Putnam County legislative meeting tonight, and they have a company that provides advertising. I'm gonna maybe contact them to see if they wanna maybe advertise on our walking trail as well. To put markers saying there's, 100 feet, 500 feet, whatever. And as you know, the rail trail is now open, the bike trail. And over the winter, even now, that people are parking up there in droves. So what we felt was going to happen, I presented and I showed you the last meeting about the parking. We're going to have a lot number 1, lot number 2, lot number 3 will be for town residents, no permit. There's not a require for a permit. And there'll be a permit required for town residents only. Now, what the problem is, we have many people now coming to that area. I see a lot of Connecticut plates, a lot with the bike racks in the back of their properties and the properties on the back of the vehicles. And it's becoming a problem. So the recreation department, we best address it. I provided to you the last time showing we put stickers similar to a parking tag, what we have for the train station. Actually, we're using leftover ones. Now, in the fee for the beach, the fee for parking will already be there. And in order to better, we added this year an annual parking permit for all town parks. So this way here, we regulate them. Many people are now starting to use our parks that aren't town residents. And the $10 that we propose and $5 for each additional vehicle is a very small fee. There's a lot of paperwork involved and it's a lot easier. Now, I think some maybe don't want to charge that fee, but we have about 6,000 parcels. No way of telling how many residents will use them. It's not a lot of money, but it'll help us to keep track better and allow us to have enough money more for enforcement. So let's discuss it if you'd like. Eric,
Need a second for discussion? Do we do that?
discussion? Okay, I don't know if I did, but second for discussion.
Second. Yeah, I'm not in favor of charging the residents for the parking at the parks. I've been thinking what other solution there could be. I know there's, one suggestion would be that we offer some sort of paper permit in the refuse flyer for town residents so that it's free for town residents, but they have to have a permit, and maybe charge for permits for those that don't live in Southeast to try and control the parking. I'm not sure what other options there could be, but using those parks and knowing a lot of people that do use those parks and having a change where they have to go and pay for a permit and get permits for the cars and which car are you going to take, and to use parks that are essentially theirs. I'm just not in favor for it at this time. So.
Other town board members.
Would senior citizens have to pay for the parking permits?
Say it again.
Senior citizens, would they have to pay for parking permits? I know that they don't have to pay for season passes at the beach.
So if they don't pay, when you get a beach pass, which is what most of the parking is done, at least at the beach and area, so seniors would not pay.
I've gone to try to get a beach pass and I was told I didn't need one because I was a senior. All I needed to do was provide my license.
Okay, at that point in time, we would provide you with a permit.
Okay.
Yeah, Eric, I hear what you're saying, but the thing is, when we go up there, we can't, you say put it into, people forget, we have one that would hang. I don't know how you could do it. And I don't think $10 is a lot to ask. And it's more for the protection of our residents. So when they get to these town parks, that it's their town park and not someone else's. So,
It's like paying for the protection. I don't know. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I still am not. in favor.
okay,
If, just in putting it out in the refuse flyer, I don't think everybody gets the refuse flyer.
well, they should.
Well, I don't know if it gets mailed by the residential address or the, I guess the property owner address. So if it's by the property owner address, you might have a lot of, renting residents that may not receive that permit that way. So, which would be grossly unfair to that population. But I do think that there should be, I believe it's an administrative fee that, we're looking to do. And, there's administrative fees. We're charging for dog licenses for $6. Okay. If you want to have a dog, you got to get a license.
Yeah.
That $6 goes to the clerk for the administrative fees to do everything that they do. And Michelle could talk better on this because I think there's a different standard as far as whether it's a neutered pet or whatever. But there's some administration that we have to provide that doesn't get covered just by the taxpayers' general taxes. So that's my 2 cents.
And again, it's all for the protection of our residents, because I'm going to tell you now, it's going to become a problem.
I hear
John
what-
Hart? Okay.
Yeah, I hear what Eric is saying, and I'm not opposed to not charging, but at the same time, for the most part, I think, aren't the people that are using the town parks, let's say, in general, they're going to pay for it, for a permit anyway to go to the beach or whatever. So I feel like I'm missing something. It's, what small percentage of people are going to just want a parking permit to just go park at the park? Is it because you're saying they're using the bike trail or whatever? I just feel like I'm
Well,
missing.
it's going to be for all parks. This way here, all the town parks. A lot of people come here and use our parks. But the one we're going to police the most, I have to admit, is going to be up at Tenetta Lake. Did that answer the question there?
So Tony, then everybody that has a kid in Little League is going to have to get a permit to park at Scalpino Park?
If they use a town park in their town residence, yes.
Yeah.
It's a permit to use, basically to use the parks. Almost every town has park permits, believe it or not.
Well, who uses Scalpino Park for argument's sake? Like Little League or whatever. So wouldn't we just be able to, if we know there's a Little League session and, I'm making it up because I don't play baseball or nothing, but from May through September, then couldn't you just give it to the coaches to say, here, this is per family or whatever? I just.
Well, again, it's for every vehicle that goes there. So the coaches, I think all of Brewster Little League, I don't know if they're all Southeast residents or not.
I just think we may be, I don't know, it may be, honestly, I hadn't thought about it until Eric brought it up right now, to be very honest. I had no problem with it until he mentioned it.
Okay, well, here's what I'll ask you to do so we don't take up a lot of time
Yeah.
doing this. I want you guys to come up with what you think we should do. How do we address it? Send it out en masse to everybody. Not everyone's going to use it. People get it. We are going to have a problem. How do we address it? We can't take it if a car comes.
I speak for myself. I don't use any of the town stuff. I just don't, but if I happen to say on one Sunday out of the whole year, oh, let me go to Scalpino Park. Yeah, it would just suck to have to go, make sure I have a permit for the one time in 10 years that I've decided to go to the park or something. As opposed to, I think those that are going to really use it are going to use it all the time, through Little League or whatever. and can somehow get grandfathered in, or to then, to John's point, if you, or to pick on John Lord, you know, who likes to hike and bike all the time, then yeah, then that's probably $10 well spent for him. For me, it wouldn't be, but that's just my opinion.
Is it because, you know, part of this is because we're anticipating a lot of traffic and a lot of parking at Castle Park, or what was formerly known as Castle Park, and the bleed over into potential the beach parking, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this. So instead of having it, you know, for all town parks, because I don't see that there's a problem at Scolpino Park right now, unless
There isn't.
yeah. So wouldn't it be better to make it, you know, a permit parking for that particular location, and everything else is, you know, unpermitted?
We could do that, but every time I get into these issues where we're targeting a particular area, which we kind of are.
What if we, yeah, I guess,
It's valid, I think, but, you know, go ahead. Eric.
yeah, so, you know, we're saying that our parks could be crowded. John, I totally get what you're saying there, and especially with the bike path and lots of people maybe coming from outside of the area, and people that come outside the areas to use our parks. And I think having a permit in play for that and being able to track it is a good thing, right? We want to prioritize the people that live here to use their parks. That's where I was going with the refuse flyer. Maybe that's not the best idea, or maybe it's just a sticker for town residents that could be free and picked up at maybe put in the flyer or picked up at town hall. And maybe for anybody that's, you know, out of the area, you know, there could be a permit process with a fee. But, you know, I don't know what it accomplishes if it's all town of Southeast residents that are using it. We don't want to deter anybody that lives here from using it. I think we'd want to prioritize them over others.
So our town parks, you're going to allow outside towns to use our parks?
But I think that happens today, right?
Yeah, because we're not controlling it in any way.
Right, but then the control that is being presented is for us, you know, the users of the park to pay a fee to be able to enforce people that don't live here from using it. And I just don't know if I agree with that approach. But
What if we don't
like you said-
charge? What if we don't charge anything, as Eric said, and have just enforcement action at Sonetta Lake Park? That's where we're anticipating having too many people using it. And the first time that someone gets a summons, it's forgiven, but we let the person know that you have to pick up a permit from the recreation department. And people that want to park at Sonetta Lake Park have to get permits from the recreation department, even though if we don't charge them. And any monies that we'll get, we would get through enforcement.
Well,
Once again, how do you enforce that unless you're picking on like Connecticut license plates or something?
Well, anybody that doesn't have a sticker in their window is not from town of Southeast.
Right, but
So
we
the
need to
first
get to
time-
the stickers first, and we're not there yet. So that's what, you know.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
we let it be known to anyone that's in the town, you need a sticker in order to park in these locations. And the first time that they don't do it and they get a ticket from our enforcement officers, it's forgiven. But after that, you should have known better. And that we don't charge anybody, but we do get administrative costs through enforcement action.
yeah, the enforcement is going to be the tougher part, not knowing, you know, if they didn't come and get a permit. Okay, look at, Pump House Road, Sonetta Lake Park, that is the targeted area, so to speak. The other ones are not, you know. So why don't you share your thoughts? We had this on the agenda the last time and this didn't come up. So now we're getting ready to vote and it's not. So we'll have to put your ideas forward and we'll consolidate them and speak of it again next meeting. And we have to decide what we want to do because it's going to be soon. It's going to be nice weather, believe it or not.
Can
Make
any,
a motion to table it?
There's no need. We'll just, yeah, you can make a motion to table.
I'll make
All in
a-
favor? Is there a second to motion? I'll second it.
Can I ask a question? Can anyone use the tennis courts?
No, it's supposed to be a town park.
Okay, but so any town resident can use the tennis courts at this point?
Sure.
Once it, okay,
But people coming from Connecticut can use it too. We have no way of knowing
right,
who it is
understood. Thank
and
you.
other towns. Okay. On the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Send me your comments and let's see if there's a way to resolve this. Okay. Next item is to a motion to approve the additional wording to section 511, social media, to the town employee handbook. Okay, Town of Southeast procedural policy to post material in the town's webpage. Approval for posting and updating content. The town supervisor shall be the person responsible to approve any and all content placed on the town's webpage and associated social media sites. There shall be no change to content placed in the town website without the express written approval and authorization of the town supervisor, with the exception of routine informational content posted by department heads on their respective webpage. Execution of content posted. The town website shall be the primary host site for the posting of all material for the town's webpage and shall serve as the host. The town board shall also have the option to designate other social media sites that will act as a secondary host site, which once approved by the town board, shall simultaneously post messages originated by the host site with no deviations from informational purposes only. Responsibility. It shall be the responsibility of the town webmaster and/or his or her emergency alternate designees to post content to the town's webpage upon written request from the town supervisor. Now, I've asked this to be done in writing for a reason. There's a paper trail that has it. We've been using the same process now for about 8, at least since I've been here. It's worked very well. The only thing we're adding to this policy, basically at this point in time, it was never in writing and now it will be, is that we will allow posting going to social media sites. And not to mention any one of them, but there's numerous ones out there and the town will approve each one as they're posted.
So when will we decide on what the other media sites will be?
Whenever they come forward. I mean, right now, Facebook is the primary one. There's Twitter and there's this one and that one. So right now, Facebook is in there.
Okay, and who will be monitoring that, or who will be the webmaster, or who will be?
Well, Victoria is the person that puts everything onto the webpage for the town.
Okay, so she would be the one that would be sending us
And-
things along.
Yes. So once something is posted onto our website, it'll be sent out to the social media sites.
Okay, and is there a process of selecting the social media site, or?
Not really.
And we don't have a web page as of now.
We have a webpage, but people had requested other social media sites.
We don't have
So-
a page on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that.
This will allow that now.
Okay,
I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, second for discussion, continued discussion. John, does this kind of meet what we were trying to accomplish, you think?
Yes, and I have a question. The apparently the typewriter you wrote that on, is that the one you use for ransom notes too? Because it's got the font is all over the place.
Where?
Got P's below the standard line. It was like, I just had to throw that. So
The document I got here doesn't do that, does it?
it does on the one on the PDF I'm looking at.
Really?
Because all the P's are below the line. All the and where it says any, it's below the normal line. Posting the G.
Oh, you guys you don't have a hard copy. I don't know how that happened, but the hard copy doesn't show that.
It just looks weird. But that's what we had discussed. I think again, the whole purpose to this is it's kind of to bring us into it is the 21st century still. So yeah. So we're trying to get into the 21st century. A lot of we did receive a lot of constituent asking us to post real-time data. And, part of the problem is if in the event of a power outage, the town offices are closed or just without power, it's kind of hard for the webmaster, Victoria, to post content. And, when we had Hurricane Isaias, we had some issues where people, wanted to have more real-time data. And I think most of us can attest that we basically live on our smartphones nowadays. And if you're on social media, depending on how much social media you actually do all day, you're going to prefer that because it's like a constant push out to the people. So that's really where they're looking for their updates rather than having to navigate some old town website to find out where they're going to get dry ice and water, or maybe when the power is going to come back on or something. I don't know why they would look to the town of Southeast for that, but sometimes if we can flow whatever NYSEG is pushing out to us through the county or whatever, it's good to know. How many times we've gotten requests for where the COVID vaccines are going to be given and everything. There's a lot of constituent questions on that. So this just gives us an opportunity to make it more accessible. And that's really the intent of the whole purpose. So.
And as you know, right now, every time the county comes out with something, they have a site, we have different links on there, but we do limit the number of links that go out there, because I probably get about 3 requests a week to put things on our website from outside vendors. Oh, I looked at your website, it's really great. I have this thing for this one, I got that link for that one. And our website is for town residents and town information, not for the world, so to speak. And it's worked, I think it's worked pretty well. And Eric Larker is going to be one of the people to put it on emergency, and Kathy Chudina. They both have access to it to make those adjustments and have volunteered to do that. Okay. On that motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 3, a resolution for International Boulevard. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast hereby approves the realignment of International Boulevard in compliance with the project development plan of Ace Indico 80 International Boulevard on premises known as tax map numbers 45.-1-31.2, 45.-1-31.3, and 45.1-29 to facilitate the improvement of Ace Indico facility, and be further resolved that the town highway superintendent and to the extent necessary, the town supervisor are hereby authorized to prepare or cause to be prepared and filed all orders, maps, surveys, drawings, specifications, and other documents necessary to lay out the realignment of International Boulevard and cause such realigned area of International Boulevard to be improved to highway department standards as approved by the town's engineering consultants. And further resolve the Ace Indico project, and be further resolved, all expenses incurred in the realignment and improvement of International Boulevard shall be borne by the developer. And be further resolved, the highway superintendent is hereby authorized to abandon such portions of International Boulevard as are rendered no longer useful to the abutting landowner, in this case, Ace Indico. And be further resolved, this resolution shall take effect immediately. So move for discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 4 is a resolution to replace damaged vehicle with insurance reimbursement. Now therefore be resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the town highway department to use the amount of an insurance proceeds from the recent loss of a plow truck in the amount of $103,500 to convert an existing truck in its inventory to replace a plow truck, and be further resolved, the resolution shall take effect immediately. What happened, one of our vehicles was involved in an accident coming down Dingle Ridge Road during the snowstorm. There was I guess an outcropping or a rock or something there, and they hit it, and it did a lot of damage to the car, the vehicle, I'm sorry. And the insurance company paid a portion of it. I think it's going to cost around 102, but I put in 103.5 because that's the full amount in case it's necessary. But we think we can get it done for about $100,000.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 5, approve shift differential salary for the building department. Now therefore be resolved that any part-time code enforcement officer or parking enforcement officer working outside the town's standard workday shall be paid a shift differential as indicated below. From 4:30 PM until 12 midnight, Monday through Friday, a 10% over his or her base hourly rate. 12:01 AM to 9 AM, Monday through Friday, 15% over his or her base hourly salary. 12:01 AM to 12 midnight, Saturday, 10% over his or her base hourly rate. And 12:01 AM to 12 midnight on Sunday, 15% over his or her base salary rate. And be further resolved, the shift differential pay schedule shall take effect immediately. So move for discussion.
Second.
Now, the reason we're doing this, and John O'Connor did an excellent job when he was here for the town working that, and I'm quite sure he wished he had that shift differential when he was working, because he worked some crazy hours. You know, you ask a person to work, normal day hours, most businesses have a shift differential. So in order to encourage more enforcement on the weekends when we need it the most, we're willing to pay a little bit extra to the person to make sure they can get out there and hopefully get some work done. Because a lot of things that happen in this town happen on the weekends, happen after hours. So if we can find a person who will help do that, it'll be at least worth his while. And it's time away from your family, your friends. So the town is paying a differential, which is not uncommon in any business. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And next is a resolution to approve the approval, public employer health emergency plan. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast hereby approves the public employer health emergency plan as proposed and annexed hereto. Recognize that it is a living document and may be subject to change in the future, and be further resolved, the resolution shall take effect immediately. Because of the COVID virus this past year, New York State passed a law which requires all public employers to have a plan. They sent us a template, which I used. I updated it for the town. I didn't agree with everything they wrote in there, but it's our plan, so we got an opportunity to change some of it. An essential employee by the government is someone essential that can work outside on, with a computer or whatever. Well, our accounting department would not be one of them. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if it wasn't for our accounting department, nobody would have gotten paid. So I changed a few of what they felt essential. I did identify each department, which is the most important. And again, I consider the accounting department the most important, because without them, our bills would not be paid, our employees would not be paid. And I made them number one. We don't have to identify who's number one, but without a doubt, they are. And it's a requirement and it's a living document. So if something changes, I mean, John provided me with an update here just before this was actually printed, where there was an update, because the state is always updating. I mean, how often, John? Every 5 minutes?
In this particular instance, the guidance document that the state gave as a template, that came out in, I don't know, April or May of last year, probably. And look how much has changed since then. So the original Assembly and State Senate bills that went forward, they were signed by Governor Cuomo in September. And by the time it got to us, one of the governing pieces of law at the federal level expired. The FFCRA expired on or straight up midnight, 12/31/20, and did not move forward into this year. So there was some state law that did move to fill that gap, but as public employers, it's different from the private sector. If you recall, like when we had the executive order, local government was to determine who was essential and who was not, and that's still in effect, actually, and hence why Tony was saying, what the determination was for what was outside of what the template provided a little bit on who was essential. But it's an ever-changing thing, and even recently, a week ago, the change that I had shown to Tony actually changed again. So we're gonna have to modify it slightly because it originally was restricted to healthcare workers, and now it's opened up to all public employees. So we're going to continue to see these changes as we slowly recover from this pandemic time. So, but yeah.
And of course, this is for the next time. There's no guarantee the next time is going to be similar to this time, but this is what they've asked for. Fortunate for us, they did provide a template because when I started writing this way back when, I wouldn't say it was difficult, but I said whether they really want. But once I got the template, it made the job a lot easier. And again, we geared it for our town the way it's done. And I don't know, it is what it is, and we'll continue to upgrade it.
I need
Any
a
other
second.
comments? Oh, no second yet? Is there a second for discussion? Now we're done with it?
Second,
On the motion, it's on the resolution itself, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll open up the public comment. This will be posted on the town webpage in the next few days as well. Public comment.
So if you would like to speak, you should be able to unmute yourselves, or you could go into the chat and ask to be unmuted, or if you're on a phone, you could press *9, I believe.
Anyone, Eric?
No, it doesn't look like anybody. Again, you can unmute yourselves. It's wide open by clicking on participants next to your name, or you could type in the chat. Yep, doesn't look like anybody, Tony.
Okay. Town board.
Yeah, have the 2020 financials been closed out yet? Do we?
No, they're still being worked on, but they should be ready by the next meeting.
Okay, and so we'll need to wait for that before we get a 284 agreement from the highway superintendent?
No, I think we may have to wait for the state budget to come out to get that, because from what we're understanding, the CHIPS money this year may be reduced by as much as 50%. And Mike can't make a determination based on that until he gets the true number that the state's gonna have. Because he bases his budget on what we get from CHIPS as well.
Okay.
just want to talk about, so today in Brewster in Southeast, we had a vaccination clinic at the Lakeview Plaza Shopping Center next to Acme. We had over 700 doses of vaccine delivered today. And we are having another one tomorrow. It is registration and appointment only. And the window for that is as soon as the registration is opened up on the Putnam County website, it fills within a half an hour. It's just everybody's really geared up for this. We had, while it was getting set up the previous day, we had people showing up for their appointment. It was like, I have an appointment. And we were telling them, you have an appointment for tomorrow. Okay. I'm surprised they're not camping out for it. So, you know, it's like a concert there. People are showing up hours in advance of their appointments. So you can see there's people want to get out of this pandemic. So the good thing was there was the Erstat Biddle corporate was willing to give the county use of some of their vacant stores there, which was, I think it was up to 15,000 square feet, which increased the throughput of the vaccination clinic. Right now we're doing about 200 doses an hour. So that was a tremendous public-private partnership. They gave that to the county free of charge. Okay, just because they want to get us out of this pandemic as well. And the other thing, the good thing is with that many people coming into the shopping plaza, well, you know, there's a lot of foot traffic there for the tenants in those spaces. And of course, you know, it's better than the other clinics that have been happening. The other good facility that we've been using is in Phillipstown at their recreation center. But, you know, that's almost as opposite as you can get from this side of the county without being in Patterson first and then going to Garrison. So, you know, it's great for the residents on the east side of the county. We anticipate seeing more vaccine clinics on both this side and the other side of the county. The state is relaxing its restrictions on who can participate. Initially, the health department was not allowed to vaccinate seniors, so that changed overnight, okay, because that's a very fluid situation as well. So now seniors were able to register for that vaccine, and we are getting a lot more released to the state. Originally, they were giving a county of 100,000 residents, they were giving the health department for the county 200 doses a week. Okay, and Orange County with 400,000 residents was getting, guess how much? 200 doses a week. Not going to get a lot accomplished that way. So luckily now we're starting to see we're receiving vaccine in the thousands of doses. So that's much better. Plus, I think also at the in the private sector, Pfizer and the other company,
Johnson & Johnson,
yeah, Johnson and Johnson. I think
Moderna.
So they're that's going to increase production better, because there's not competing areas fighting against each other. So all in all, it's good news for our area that we're getting that vaccine out there. And then the other thing I just wanted to mention was for the Brewster Central School District, I participated in the reopening Zoom meeting with it's a subcommittee of the school board. So just a lot of parents and other involved people, including Mr. Carlson, who's the VP of Finance, and Glenn Fryer, who is the facilities director for Brewster Central School. So there was a collaboratory effort of the residents around here, and especially the parents in the schools, trying to reopen the school and give a lot of thought to that. So I think it was a very productive meeting the other night. So that's all I had.
John, the doses that are being given out by the county, do you know if it's Moderna, Pfizer, or Johnson & Johnson? They're always going to give the same one, do you think?
So we're receiving mostly Moderna, okay? Because each vaccine has, there's certain nuances to it, how some of it has to be, they deliver it in a concentrated form, and it has to be diluted before distribution. There was protocol where you had to have it frozen to a very low temperature, like between -60 and 80 Celsius, which you can only achieve with deep freezers. And then they've relaxed some of that restrictions, but we originally received Moderna, then they started giving us Pfizer and Moderna, and we are anticipating getting Johnson & Johnson shortly. The only problem with the Johnson & Johnson, as of right now, or from what I've was told, the efficacy on the Johnson & Johnson, even though it's a single shot, it's only 75%. So, we were looking forward to getting a very effective vaccine that's, because the Moderna is at 95%, but that's with 2 doses. So, having a one-shot dose is logistically much better for everybody, because you don't have to keep scheduling second dose clinics for everybody you already inoculated. However, its efficacy is only at 75%, I think. And
That's also room temperature too, isn't it, John?
Yeah. So
It holds longer for 3 months.
Takes for all of them. So I don't know if Edwin knows anything more about it from working down there.
Just about what you said. I mean, I'd quibble over whether it was 75% or 70%, but the argument is also being made that a lot of people don't show up for their second dose on top of everything else. And like you said, with the Pfizer, although your second vaccine is 21 days later, but like you said, you needed the super freezer versus the Moderna was just like a regular. And Johnson & Johnson now can just really be almost at room temperature, so to speak, and holds for like 3 months on top of everything else, so. The only question I had for you, John, was are they putting signs out like that says by appointment only or whatever? Because I heard from a few people today that it was just chaotic and pandemonium.
So
because people were driving by and literally then just saying, oh, the shot. And I'm exaggerating, making a 90-degree turn right into the parking lot, thinking they can get in. And
There's 3 variable message boards, the big
Okay.
solar powered ones outside the shopping center that say vaccine parking, and within 2 seconds it switches to by appointment only.
okay.
That doesn't stop
Just
anybody
reading.
from like I'm telling you, it's like a rock concert because these people really want their vaccine. So you have, there's people practically begging to lick the inside of the bottle. I mean, they just want their vaccine in a very bad way. Okay, similarly, there's people that probably never take it. Okay, they're not interested. And some of those were healthcare workers. I'm sure you know some of them, and they were like, I'm not taking that no matter what you do to me.
Yeah,
Okay,
we've only vaccinated about 30% at the hospital. People just aren't interested. It's surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'm looking forward to, because the thing right now is having, appropriate vaccinators. We look to, the county trains EMTs and everything. So we've been asking EMTs because we only have so many public health nurses. We have a medical reserve corps that's doing vaccinations. Which is retired doctors and nurses and everything, and just people not that active in the community anymore. There's training available that anybody who's rated to do that can get that training and participate as volunteers. So we're always looking for volunteers. The other thing is we're looking for volunteers to do data entry because the CDMS system that the state uses to track the vaccine and who's getting what. We're getting to a point where if the more throughput we have per hour, we're going to need more people doing it because otherwise the health department's not going to get its other aspects done, such as inspecting restaurants and septics and everything else that the health department does. So we're starting to need to go outside, what we're traditionally using, because it's not just a flu clinic. So that's another aspect to it. So, pass the word for people that are interested in becoming volunteers for that, because that is coming. We're establishing a vaccine support volunteer corps. So you'll be seeing that on the websites and social media part.
And on that subject matter, I have a lot of senior citizens calling me a lot. We're trying to help them the best we can. I had spoken to John, I think it was yesterday or maybe even today at some point in time, but at any rate, we got something from the county today, which I'm going to share with them. It's for the seniors mostly, but they will help anybody. The gentleman's name is Cole Caulfield, Caulfield. I guess he's a very dedicated person, has volunteered his time. He's on Facebook and other areas, helping seniors to navigate getting a shot. Now, what's happening at the up here is great, but again, people have to go and register. Some of the seniors have trouble doing it. So this gentleman has offered his services, I believe, to the county because it came from the county. And so his email address, if you need to get in touch with him, is F as in Frank, C as in Charlie, Caulfield, C as in Charlie, A as in Anthony, U, L, F as in Field, I, E, L, D @gmail.com. And for those of you that are computer literate, like Tony Hay, you can dial 914-960-7512, and he will try to help you navigate the system. And that's one of the biggest things. Now, we helped quite a few people. UCP opened up recently with some vaccines. We called, I had a list. I mean, I could have a list. I could spend all day on the phone getting people vaccinations, which is almost literally impossible. And what happens is when the seniors get calls back, they don't answer the phone or they think it's a scam. So they don't know the person calling. They don't recognize the number of the people calling. So even though we, got a shot maybe arranged for them, or they're calling to get the information from them about their age and, any kind of condition they may have, they're not answering the phone. So it's difficult. So this gentleman would be a big help to those that, are having extreme difficulty doing it. Anyone else?
Yeah, Tony, you mentioned earlier today something about a donation from Ace Endico. What was that about?
Well, believe it or not, it hasn't even come officially to me. I got paperwork in the mail from the recreation people today, and it showed Harold Lepler's bill, and it had another bill, and they said this will be paid by Ace Endico. So I will recognize them, but I have not been officially told that they're doing it, and we'll recognize them as soon as it's official.
Thanks.
And I was unaware of it. Today I got this notice that they were offering to pay for one of the, I think there's like 4 stations that are gonna be there. They're gonna pay for one of the 4 stations.
Nice. That's great.
Tony, I just had one thing. I see Mr. Wallach is on the phone, and it reminded me that I believe he's partnered with the Brewster Education Foundation to, if the Brewster Education Foundation can raise $5,000, I believe he's agreed to match it with $20,000 over 4 years to be distributed, I think. So I've donated myself. And just a reminder, I think that goes to the end of March for donation, and the proceeds go to the school's IT department. Mr. Wallach, I see you turned on your video. You can unmute yourself if you'd like.
Does he know how to do that? There you go. Nope.
No, okay, maybe he doesn't want to comment. So hopefully I got that right.
He looks like he's talking.
You should be able to see on the bottom left, you should be able to unmute yourself, or yeah, we can't hear you, Mr. Wallach. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Can you give me, you want to give him my phone number and ask him if he wants to call me and translate it for him quick, if you can't turn it? Why don't you do that? See if we can do that.
Mr. Wallach, if you want to, you could call my cell phone, and we'll put you on live. It's 914-804-0268, and we'll put you on speakerphone so everybody can hear you. Mr. Wallach?
Yeah, hi. Well, thank you. I just can't find my button for to unmute. It's sort of strange, but thank you for being so patient, and thank you for your good words, and we look forward to success with this campaign. I just think it's important, especially under the current circumstances of teaching and learning in Brewster, and I wanted to do my part. And I thank you for your helping out as well, and mentioning it at this meeting.
Yeah. Well, good luck. I believe you guys are close. I saw within $900. So good luck to you guys. Yeah.
Very good. Excellent. Yeah. And thank you all for everything that you all do, especially during these tough times.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. We close tonight's meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Bye.